All right, thank you, John. I want to thank everyone for being here. It was a tremendous win for our program. When you look at the two halves that our kids competed in, certainly it started out with our defense. On that first drive, to come up with a big goal line stance, really set the tone. And I knew those guys were ready to play. We were a little flat offensively. Made a few things adjustment-wise at halftime, and then we came out in special teams and blocked that punt. And that really kind of sparked us, and that made a big difference. Adam Redden did a great job. Ken Minifield returning that one. It was the first time in 10 years that we had a punt return. It wasn't your traditional punt return, but it certainly gave us a great lift. And then after that, just, the last drive, the 7-minute drive. We talk about 4-minute drives to close out games, but we needed 7 to close it out. And the offensive line and the receivers and tight ends did a tremendous job of securing that win, and I couldn't have been more proud of the way our kids had to dig deep and win. It was a great place to play. It put us in an adverse situation, and I think our kids really showed great resiliency and perseverance. A couple great accomplishments, proud to share, was we broke the single-season rushing record this year, and then we are also the first team in the history of Division 1A football here at UB to go 2,000 yards passing and 2,000 yards rushing in the same year. So we're very proud of that work done by that side of the ball. We've had 8 different players have 10 or more receptions on the year. That's the first time that we've had that. We set a new sack record. Saturday we had 8 sacks, and my John Fuller brought it up. There's been 2 interesting statistics of the 2004 Central Michigan team and myself. A couple weeks ago, we won a senior day game. The last time they won a senior game day game was when we were at Central. UB beat us when I was at Central. This year, we broke the sack record, and the last time they had 8 sacks in a game was against Central Michigan in 2004, and I was coaching the offensive line. So I'm much happier being here at UB and being a part of this program and breaking records here, and not being on the other end of that. But that was just a great accomplishment by all of our guys. And we have 4 players. This is very interesting. We have 4 players on our defensive side of the ball. They're in the top 15, 20 in sacks and tackles for a loss. That's Mack, Means, Colby Way, and also Lee Skinner. And nobody else has 4 players in the top 15, 20 in sacks and tackles for a loss. Khalil Mack was named MAC Defensive Player of the Week, and he was also named UB Student Athlete of the Week. It was a tremendous effort by him, and real proud of his work and his accomplishments. He also set a new career record for tackles for a loss. So we have really, since Northern Illinois, we have really stepped our play, and it's going to be a great challenge for us this week against Bowling Green, really in all 3 phases from that standpoint. But real proud of the way these guys really kept digging and fighting. But I'm also very proud of this young man, Colby Way, who's our guest here today representing our program, just because of the things he does, not only on the field but off the field. I've always said that Colby's never had a bad day. He's got a great spirit. He's got a great mind. He's an engineering major, as John mentioned, but he's one of our academic all-conference players, represents us in all phases, both on and off the field. And he's accomplished some things that I couldn't be more proud of, and certainly excited about his development, where it's at, and where he continues to grow as a human being and as a football player under our leadership in our program. So with that, we'll certainly open up for questions as we get ready for Bowling Green.
Colby, is there any sort of competition amongst you guys that are up there, you, Stevens, and Khalil, right within like a sack and a half of each other? Is there a little inter-team competition?
No, there's not really an inter-team competition. We're just all excited when any one of us makes plays, and it's just great being out there with those guys. Having 2 other guys on the field that are just phenomenal athletes and phenomenal players like that in our front 7 is just a huge help. But no, there's no competition between us.
What changed after the Ohio Northern games? What changed you guys defensively?
Nothing really changed. It was, it's kind of a tough question, but we just started playing a lot better. It was just kind of a mentality change, really. We just decided that enough was enough and that we were just going to start stopping offenses. and that's about it.
How important would it be for you, Colby, to end the game on a 4-game winning streak and take something really positive into next season?
I mean, that would be great, you know, and it'd be great to have that happen. But more than just momentum carrying the next season, I feel like we owe it to the seniors this year, you know, to play for them and more just get them a win as the last time in UB Jersey. So.
Colby, has Coach mentioned to you that there are, you know, parallels? Kent State had a finish last year that's a little similar to where you guys are at, and obviously you see what they're doing this year. I don't know, have you realized that? Has Coach brought that up about what the end of this season might mean for next year?
No, we haven't really talked about that much at all. It's more just about finishing out this season, getting one more win here at the end of the year, and then that'll, I mean, all the momentum will definitely carry over, but we're more focused on this last game.
Are you excited for this matchup? I mean, people will look at this and say, boy, this is defense, which you don't
Yeah.
see a whole lot of.
Absolutely, real excited.
Coach, your team is 3-0 since Joe Cotta's taken over at quarterback. Can you just talk a little bit about what he's done that's led to your team's success? And is it any coincidence that you guys have started this run with him taking over?
Joe's got a hot hand, you know, and you go with the guy who's got the hot hand. And, you know, he was afforded an opportunity. He's taken advantage of it. But he's prepared that way all year. You know, we've seen it last spring. We've seen it as a true freshman, you know, and I've said it many times. He's really stepped up his play. And then to have an opportunity to go on the road as a favored team, you know, we were favored, but, you know, to be able to come back in that second half and win on the road and as a redshirt freshman, that speaks volumes. You know, of your ability to coach these young men, but also your players to respond. He was accurate, made good choices, good receiver selection, and, you know, and certainly that's what we were hoping for when we had to put him in there, and certainly when that opportunity came, he was able to answer and deliver.
Is Joe now the guy, or is there a quarterback competition controversy?
No, Joe will be our starting quarterback, yes.
Looking ahead to next year, does he have a leg up?
I'm having a hard time looking past today and getting ready for today's practice. You know, certainly we'll address things as time moves along, but we do have a lot of time to continue to develop. We have two outstanding quarterbacks, and really with Tony Daniel in that, and then we have a true freshman in Colin Michael. You know, that's what we want to have. You know, we want good players, and certainly to have as many talented young men that care about this program is really important to us. But right now, Joe's going to be our starting quarterback, and, you know, and certainly we're going to continue developing all the players around him. But he's really delivered, and he's done a great job, and now it's going to be another chance to go on the road and deliver a great effort, because we're going to need it out of our quarterback, as we will our receiving core and our running backs, you know, along with our offensive line. We need to move the ball, but it'll be a great balance, great battle for our defense to be able to deliver on the same kind of energy and effort, as Colby mentioned. So, you know, it's not just one quarterback or it's not one player, but Joe has certainly done a great job for our program right now.
Consider his experience. He played better than maybe his experience.
You know, I think Joe's always felt in his heart, I'm sure within himself, you know, he's always known that he was able to deliver the kind of performance that he has demonstrated. So, you know, to think, has he performed better than we thought? No, we've seen that kind of success in practice. You know, it was a battle in spring ball, we all know. And as summer kept moving along and fall camp, and as the year kept unfolding, we needed to get him in there and play early. And he got, you know, and he was able to do that. And when that chance came, you know, he was ready to go. And that speaks volumes of his, you know, his ability to be in that role. It's not an easy role to be that backup quarterback, but he accepted it and showed a tremendous amount of responsibility to be able to be in that. And now when he gave that chance, you know, we know that we're seeing, you know, a really quality quarterback in the making. And we just got to keep building on it.
It's a road game for you, but it's kind of a road game for them too. What do you expect of an unusual city and an unusual stadium for a game like this?
Well, I think anybody knows Columbus. I spent 3 years down in Cincinnati and 3 years up in a place called Ada, Ohio. Columbus is a great place to play college football. And there's going to be a lot of excitement surrounding, you know, our contest and our matchup with Bowling Green. We know how important this game means to both programs. They're an outstanding ball club, well coached, play hard. They've got a lot of good wins under their belt. We're coming off a 3-game win streak, and we just got to go back and do the things that afforded us an opportunity to come out top. And Columbus is a great place. And I know that they secured this as their last home game because they wanted to kind of put this in the day before the Ohio State and Michigan matchup. And there's going to be a lot of people around that area. So there's going to be a lot of energy in that city. And it speaks volumes to our ability to go down there and play in that kind of environment. Playing in a soccer stadium will be my very first time doing that. So it'll be, I'm sure it'll be interesting to go in there. But, we'll do a site visit on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day, and have an opportunity for our players to see the place that they're going to play and compete on Friday. And, look, all that stuff really won't matter. It's going to be how we line up and play and address the things that we need to do to be successful and move the chains and stop them and be explosive and attacking in the special teams area. Well, I left that up to Paul Bitar, my director of football operations. I don't know if he's got to go out tonight and get them or not, but it's going to be a great experience for our kids. Thanksgiving, college football in general, pro football, it adds a lot more to it. And what we're trying to do is establish a program and build a program that understands that we're not just trying to get into November, but be respectable and relevant in November. And that's really the exciting part of it. You saw it this past weekend, what happens at this time of the year. And so you have to be very, very careful as you don't get too far ahead of yourself. Take it one day at a time, one play at a time. But it's a great opportunity for our kids and their families to be around each other and enjoy a great holiday weekend of college football and a great UB win.
Coach Bowling Green has one of the top defenses in the MAC and probably even the country if you break them down, led by Chris Jones. How do you prepare for a game against a defense that's this good, and what's the mindset going up against a team that has basically been stellar all year long now with their unit?
Well, we see it every day. We have the likes of Khalil Mack that we have to block every day, which is quite a chore. Stephen Means, Colby Way, Lee Skinner, Jake Stockman, Willie Mosley. We can go on and on. Wyatt Cahill. So we see that type of defense every day. So the advantage for us is we've been well prepared, and we've done it all season long against one of the best defenses right here at the University of Buffalo.
Colby, you've played so many tight games this year. There haven't been a lot of opportunities for you guys to do what you did in the fourth quarter Saturday, which is pretty much the other team has to throw and tee off a little bit on the pass rush. How much fun is that for you guys as pass rushers? And could you sense that you guys as a group knew you were in that opportunity and tried to take advantage of it?
Yeah, absolutely. As a defensive end or defensive lineman, there's nothing more than you could ask for than to know that it's going to be pass. And especially like with having Khalil and Steve on the outsides, I mean, that puts two guys on them and usually leaves me one-on-one with someone. So it just becomes a great opportunity, and it's a blast. It really is.
Can you talk to us about the guys, beyond the guys we see all the time? We see Steve, we see you, we see Wyatt, we see Christian. Can you just talk about the depth and some of the guys that we might not yet know about and how they've been?
Absolutely. I mean, Bo Bechtel, he's a phenomenal football player, and you just haven't got to see much of him because he's behind Steve right now. But he's a transfer from California, and he's a real good football player, got a great pass rush, and hopefully you'll see a lot of him next year. Along with Dalton Barksdale, he's a great run defensive player, and you'll see a lot more of him next year too. But
Colby, can you talk about this club's perseverance, the 6 straight losses, to not let the whole team just unravel and to close out strong here?
Yeah, from the beginning we kind of took a mentality as one game at a time, and after that Northern Illinois game is when I feel that we really changed everything. Everyone really bought into that one game at a time. We just need to get a win now. Just leave it all on the field. And then we also we started talking about just play for the seniors. How would you want the underclassmen to play for you when it's your last year? And I think that's really helped us progress and just get these last 3 wins and hopefully a 4th one this Friday.
Running back situation?
Day to day, That's it. That's one day at a time. Colby said it best. We just take them one day at a time. But yeah, there's without a doubt, both of them were out there yesterday, and in each of them are working extremely hard to get back. And I know both of them want to play. And so, you know, hopefully as time moves along, and Friday we'll be able to see, you know, both of them get an opportunity to go out there and contribute and help this football team secure a win on the road, because we'd certainly love to have both of them. And then, you know, like I said, you know, we just have to learn as a football team. The strength of our team is the team. It's the individuals, and that's where the truth really lies. And that's where guys like Rashad Jean and Brandon Murray and, you know, Alex Dennison have all stepped up for us. You know, it's been a tough situation not to have some of your best players in that situation enroll, but, you know, the day-to-day mentality is what we have to approach it as. And I've told Bo and Devin, you know, just keep getting better, and, you know, when you feel like you're ready to go, we're going to put you in there. It's the next game, and it's the only one left on the schedule. So, you know, hopefully they can muster up enough, you know, to get out there and help us compete and win against Bowling Green.
You guys on the sideline were calling Rashad the bus.
The bus.
They were really getting behind him. And for a senior like that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that had to be kind of a special moment for you to kind of and for him.
Yeah. You know, Rashad came into our program as a non-scholarship player, and was a defensive lineman. You know, big, good, strong, thick body. A kid who loves football, loves his team, wanted an opportunity to prove his worth. And, you know, we saw a lot of good things. I did personally. And he was able to earn a scholarship. He's a double major. He's a bright young man. He's got a lot going for him. And he just understood his role. He understood that role as in regards to being a fullback and a H-back and a blocking back and special teams. And then all of a sudden here we are, you know, in Gillette Stadium, and we needed to call upon a guy who was a big physical running back. And his 46 yards after contact really stood out to me. You know, he gave us a big physical presence against an 8- and 9-man box that we didn't have at that moment. And so he really stepped up and delivered. And that's what being a responsible teammate is all about. And he definitely benefited greatly from an offensive line that was also on the same mindset that we're going to get the yardage, because there was a lot of holes in there and seams that he could take advantage of it. You didn't have to grind it too hard at the point of attack, because he had guys like Andre Davis, who was taking guys 5 and 6 yards back, and Jimmy Gordon and Jason Carlson and Trevor Sales and Graham and Silas and Gio. They were all on the same page, you know, what we were doing. And we were just running gap schemes and inside zone schemes, you know, and just trying to close it out. And then when we needed to throw the ball, Joe delivered, you know. But Rashad really improved that, and they were using a lot of different nicknames for Rashad because of the success he had. But it was exciting just for our kids. They rally around each other, and that was a good lift for us to see that we have guys like him in our program that are ready to take advantage of that opportunity, and he was able to do that.
I know you focused on your team, but then you go home. Pretty nice day for a good friend of yours, #1 in the nation now. And you guys both hit your stride.
Well, I tell you, he's a great ball coach, and you know, a lot of people. I had plenty of time, you know, working side by side, 21 years with Coach Kelly, so I've seen it for a long time. You know, people might not have seen it, but I saw it day to day, and you know, I couldn't be more proud of he and a lot of his coaches that I worked with at Central Michigan and Cincinnati. You know, Bobby Diaco is defensive coordinator. I mean, that defense is solid, and they've really hung their hat on that unit, as we have with our own defense, and that's been a big lift for us, and that's how you win games. If you got a great defense, you know, and you play attacking style and explosive play on special teams, then offensively all you got to do is just manage the game, and that's what they've been able to do. And to be #1 and to go into USC to have a chance to play for it all, he's deserving, and we are deserving the same, you know, to finish this thing out the right way.
Colby, what has Stephen Means meant to you, and what do you think a kid like that from here has meant to this program?
I mean, Steve he's a phenomenal player. Not only that, he's athletic, but he also works harder than anyone that I know. He's always in the weight room doing extra reps. He's out there after practice sometimes, getting extra work in, but just someone to look up to him. It's been great, to have an older player like that to look up to and learn from. But I mean, and also to this town. I mean, he's from Buffalo, so everyone loves talking about Steve, and he's a great player, and he'll continue to be so.
Jeff,
Yes.
I mean, the difficulty of the early schedule has been well documented, but did you feel any personal pressure as things started to mount there, the losses started to mount, even though the schedule was difficult?
Yeah, we weren't happy with the outcome, but I was certainly very encouraged and determined by the effort that our players were given. And we were close, so often. I mean, I look at the UConn game in terms of, one possession loss, and, we had the ball last. Ohio, same thing. I mean, we did a lot of great things in that game. We just, we turned the ball over in some special teams play and some penalties. The Toledo game, same thing, So we've played in those games, we've played 5 ranked teams, 4 of them in our league. It's been the best year in the Mid-American Conference we've ever seen, so the competition's been there. The Georgia game, and then we've played 2 Big East teams. And so, we know that it was it was going to be a great challenge for our kids, but I think we learned from it. And if you want to be the best, and I've said it, you have to play the best. And sometimes you can gain a tremendous amount of experience and learn from those difficult outcomes to be able to show that, we can finish games. And when you beat a Miami team, in the last seconds on a big kickoff return and then a huge field goal, and then turn around and back it up with a great win against Western and then go on the road and win on the road against UMass, we've been geared up for those things to happen. And sometimes those advantages. We had a situation at Grand Valley, I never forget it. We used to schedule this one non-league game, against the best teams, North Dakota State and, UC Davis and, IUP. And, boy, our non-league record was not very good. But I think what it did is it gave our kids an exposure to some of the national competition and the better competition that you need to see in order for you to know what you need to do to get there. And we were able to do that. And now what we do is we find ourselves in the power rankings right in the middle. We're better than 6 teams right now, in the 3 in the East and 3 in the West. But there's 6 teams ahead of us, and one of them is Bowling Green. And this is going to be a great chance for us to measure up on the road against a very good opponent. And that's what it's exciting about. College football in November, none better. But I think that schedule helped us get where we are.
It helped you. There's no doubt about that, I think. But were you feeling a pressure, personally? Just it's a bottom line business.
Yeah.
Right? Were you feeling, as the losses, despite the difficulty?
It was like I said, Bob, and I appreciate what you're asking because, it was more determination. I saw it every day, and I wanted these kids. I was more concerned about the players, and my coaches. I have no doubt whatsoever. You've been out to practice. You've been to these games. You saw it just like I did. We needed to change the outcome. There was no doubt because, you can't keep, having the results and expect, yourself to be protected in this business. It doesn't work that way. We all know that. But the bottom line is I had great support from a program and a bunch of kids that they hung in there together. And that's what I appreciate. And we're excited about moving this program and to continue building it. There's a lot of excitement. This is a big-time place. It's a big-time program, big-time players, and big-time university with big-time students and big-time alums. And that's what we're doing. We're going to continue reaching deep and finding ways to keep moving this program with the kind of quality players that we have in our program that are all returning, and the new ones that are going to be coming in with great leadership from our athletic director and Danny White and his staff and his, there's a lot of potential. We all know that, and that's what's exciting about it. And I can't wait to get, back out there and have a chance to see what our kids can do for 4 quarters against a very good football team.
Coach, what does Steve mean to this program?
He's meant a lot. I remember when we first came in here, just he and I need to get to know each other. what those expectations were every day, but a high-energy guy. You know, I always said, Steve, if you and I were teammates, we'd go at it every day on that practice field. I said, but afterwards, you know, we'd be very close friends. Because I do believe in all of the things that Steven believes in. You know, he's a man of faith. He's a family man. And he understands how important football is to him and the opportunities that the game and the University at Buffalo has afforded him. And to be a spokesperson, being a representative out in the public eye is very important. So, you know, we certainly are excited for the kind of work and the kind of commitment he's made to our program and our department. And we only expect great things to continue happening for Steven as he continues pursuing his career and passions.
I know it's game day, you know, probably is pretty consuming. Did you get a chance to familiarize yourself at all with the bowl situation and then the Max place in this group of 5 and the ability to, you know, to potentially play in one of the bigger bowls?
You know, and I'll do respect, I haven't really put a lot of time into it. You know, it's just there's just been so much other stuff that's been taking up my time. So I'm sure if somebody will explain it once, it's crazy. Every day something new's happening, you know, with college football and college athletics in particular. So I try to maintain an understanding that, you know, my job and responsibility, as back to your question earlier, is about this team and this program, and that's where all my energy and effort goes to.
Colby, you got a take on how the landscape in college athletics is changing and continues to change and evolve? I mean, you grew up in a town, very traditional, you know, and it just, you know, we saw a major shift within the last year, and now again we're seeing a shift. When you see that, what do you think?
I mean, we're not really, as players, you're not really worried that much about all of the.
As a guy who grew up in a college town as a fan, not from a player who necessarily.
I think for the most part, it's taken turns for the better. I mean, I guess like the biggest thing that people always ask about with college football would be like, should there be playoffs, or like how like a national champion should be determined. And I mean, for me, I just like watching football. I like being around football. I like being a part of it. And the rest of it doesn't really affect me that much, personally.